Hey, Liron here, following our theme for the week, which is going to be loose painting for beginners, letting the paint do a lot of the work for you. I want to share with you this quick process. We have this beautiful red car. I'm going to share links to the reference photo in the description box. And I really like the boldness of the red. But what I want to do is try and just see what we can create by being very loose, letting the paint do a lot of the work and not adhering as closely to the reference photo, just like we did with the florals. Okay, once in a while I really crave this kind of a thing. So what you saw me do is pre-wetting the paper and putting in some splashes of yellow, and now I'm putting some splashes of red. Now I want you to look at what's going on paper, and that's a mistake a lot of beginners make. They don't have in mind what's going on paper. They're so focused on what they need to do, what they want to do. They don't even notice what's going on. And a lot of the things that are going on paper without you even trying is magic. In fact, the less you try, watercolor tends to give you a lot of gifts. And if you're able to recognize them, you can get away with fewer details, you can get away with less work, and create a better result. Now, when I say better result, I don't mean as loose as you see me doing here. I mean like better, like accurate, good looking, magical, flow, looseness, whatever you want will be there. But look at how just splashing a bit of water and then letting the paint run wild, it gives it this dynamic feel. What is basically happening is nature is painting with you, because the paper is wet, the water does the work, and you look at this and you're like, this is really abstract, right? But there is a lot of magic to that abstraction. You're gonna see me in a second wetting the bottom part and letting all the shadows of the car just run wild. And to me, that's one of my favorite bits, even once this dries. So I hope seeing me work that way maybe will encourage someone out there to just try it out, just be as loose as you see here. Look at this juicy red, right? I do like when I work wet and wet to often use very strong and juicy colors. There's a good reason for that. Here we go. We're going to pre-wet the bottom in a second. Wet, not pre-wet. The reason I like working with these strong paints is that you almost need to counteract the wetness in terms of flow and in terms of value. A lot of water makes it dry lighter. Look at how I'm bringing out this other headlight just by putting in some water, maybe lifting a bit, just hinting at it, right? So to counteract that, you use a lot of, there we go, look at that. You use a lot of strong pigment and it looks wonderful. And the magical thing about it is that you can then look at what's going on paper and decide, do I want to control it? Do I want to more let it do what it wants to do, and can I get it to do the work for me, get the result I want just by painting itself, which is wonderful, a wonderful thing to achieve. Now I'm starting to spread out from that car and I'm just looking at the other car there, thinking in very simple shapes once again. Okay, these are the shadows, then I'm gonna have some blue for the windshield and a bit of warmth for the headlights there. So I'm just placing color. One thing I really like to do is just place color and then see what happens. Place it, look at it, and then decide what I'm gonna do with it. Now, which is very different to overthinking, overanalyzing, and then you're late, the timing is off, everything is drying on you. So that's a way I like to do it. Now, there's a very methodical way you can be very accurate and still you know, take your time with what you're doing. It's a bit of a different process. We're going to talk about that probably in next week's video, but just kind of throwing it out there. Now I'm putting in the buildings very loosely. By the way, if you want to learn how to paint this loosely, like this, letting the color do most of the work, putting the paint in and then seeing what it does, check out the frustration-free watercolor course, link in the description box below. If you feel stuck with watercolor, I think it will unstuck you. There is one process there in particular, the one I keep sharing a snippet of with that pear, sorry, that is all about placing a bunch of colors and then looking at them. Look at this right edge. What a beautiful thing it is. Look at the different patterns of spreading of the paint. That's one thing I really, really like. But in any case, yes, frustration-free watercolor course, I would greatly appreciate it if you check it out. That's how we pay the bills around here, with your help. And it's just going to give you everything you need to just be set loose. Once you're loose, you can do this easy peasy, but then you can also do the paintings that you see me do that are more realistic, even close to photorealistic. It gives you everything. And I have to say, watercolor in its, and again, strong, juicy paint, even if it's black paint, watercolor is so much fun once you get past that point. There's a before and after. There's a before you experience true looseness and after you experience true looseness. Once you experience it, it's very hard to go back. You know what it feels like. Sometimes you'll struggle to generate it because you're too caught up in the reference photo and the details. It will happen, but you'll forever have this resource you can just reach out to and use. And to me, I think that was the tipping point in my watercolors. It happened about 3-4 years ago even, but ever since then, only retrospectively, I know I got through it, but it's just amazing. The feeling, the freedom, you don't even care if the result is a bit off, because it's more about the painting process itself rather than the result. Not because someone told you that's a good way to do it, just because it is. So you saw me connecting the shadows, adding some details in the background. It's really secondary. What's important is that beautiful boldness in the red car. And yes, this is the easiest thing to do. Just splash some water on paper, put some paint, let it build, see what it does. You don't have to immediately react to it. You don't have to immediately change things, try to control it, get it to look the way you want. You can watch it for a while, see what it does, and see if you can use it to your favor with actually minimal effort. That is what I find one of the most fun things to do. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon. Be sure to check it out if you want to receive credits at the end of the videos. Greatly appreciated. And there are some exclusive processes, exclusive posts. Be sure to check that out. Even if you're not a supporter on Patreon, there are some posts open to all. So I'm going to put the link anyway in the description box below. Check it out. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want to get that freedom, check out the frustration-free watercolor course. I'm on a real freedom kick, just trying to paint, to let the paint do a lot of the work for me and have a lot of fun with it and see how much I can get away with. Let me know in a comment below your thoughts. If you want me to do more of these short videos, I'd be happy to, or I can go back. I do have a long, detailed, hyper-realistic process I'm planning out. But let me know if you want more of these short, loose processes. Thank you so much. We'll see you again in the next video. Take care.